Millsaps. This is my final for ECCE 1112, Child Observation Community Resource PowerPoint. Point is to demonstrate how an in-depth understanding of child observation and assessment techniques can be utilized in real time. It also aims to illustrate these useful techniques through pictures, running notes, descriptive narrations. In addition, I aim to imbue each slide with a deep understanding of what developmentally appropriate early education environment will look like. So developmentally appropriate education, I will add more comments to this once we move through the slides. Main is language development. Here we see a child reading with their grandparents. You can see they are sitting close together. They are smiling at a book together, and the child seems to be engaged on a page, the same page that their grandparents are engaging in, and you can see the running notes on the side here. So these are all important things to look at when engaging a child's ability to hit a milestone or to have already achieved said milestone. Standards for this particular scenario and language development is CLL 8.2a recognizes and self-selects familiar books to mimic independent reading. So if a child is reading at home, they are more likely to do this in the classroom. And CLL 8.2c holds book with two hands and turn the pages. So the grandparents are doing a great job of modeling that, and you can see the child is interested in the page. An assessment tool for language and development would be anecdotal notes. So you can watch children as they engage with the learning materials in your reading center and make sure to write quick and unbiased notes about how they are engaging and file these away. For your learning center materials, in order to promote language development, you can have picture storybooks. And one strategy for teachers is to allow children to self-pick books and then assist with reading them. So allow the child to have their own personal interest. This will promote engagement with the books, because if you're forcing them to read a book they might not like, they may become disinterested in books. And another one is a letter matching game. So this is important for their pre-academic skills. So you want to make sure this material is self-correcting by having the alphabet printed on the magnetic board so they can match the magnet tile to the letter, the correct letter. Cognitive development. Here we see a child playing with a constructed ball maze. So you can see the child is highly engaged. They're focused on the funnel. They have both of their hands upreached towards the funnel, and she grasps the blue ball at the top. The running notes are over here, but you can also see down below there are 4 additional balls in the bottom, indicating that the child may have already put them through. And she is kneeling behind the toy, so using her whole body to outstretch towards the top. Words to this scenario and cognitive development are CD SC1.3b, and she is using simple tools to experiment and observe. And the next one is CD SC4.3a. She is independently investigating objects and toys that require positioning and movement. So an assessment tool for this would be a checklist. So cognitively, you can have a developmental milestone checklist for cognitive development milestones. And when using certain activities, you can create a checklist of Guild standards and then just check those off as you see a child engage with the materials. Learning centers that will help cognitive development is animal match puzzles. So a great strategy to keep kids interested and promote development of the skill is to rotate the puzzles according to their interests. You can even do them according to what you're learning. If you have a project-based learning environment, you can put puzzles related to what they are interested in, such as if you're doing a bee unit, you can put a bee puzzle out. The second material is natural science elements such as rocks or acorns. Bringing nature inside is so important for children, so pay attention to how children play with these elements and introduce new elements according to their interests. So if they are stacking with the rocks, then you can introduce another natural element that is stackable, or if they are rolling the acorns, you can introduce another natural element that is rollable. Social emotional development. Children playing together with manipulatives. So the child in the blue shirt seems to be instructing the child with the white shirt, but for the sake of running notes, they are talking. He is talking, and she is pointing at his blocks. He is placing 2 blocks together. So the running notes are here on the side. They do have open mouths, and this indicates that they are interacting with each other and the materials. Two correlating Guild standards for this particular activity and developmental domain is SED 2.3a, uses a combination of words, phrases, and actions to communicate needs, ideas, opinions, and preferences. You commonly see this during play with children because they communicate with each other and tell each other what they do and don't like. SED 2.4a, they effectively use words, sentences, and actions to communicate needs, ideas, opinions, and preferences. So that first one is they use a combination, and the second one, they effectively use it. Sometimes their language is not always effective, so these are 2 different distinctions. An assessment tool for social emotional development is a case study, and this can be imperative because there are so many things that go into social emotional development. So something that may affect that is socioeconomic status. So if you have a case study, you can use a bunch of different materials and assessment techniques to create this case study and predict and learn what their behaviors are based on their individual circumstances, and this will help your entire classroom thrive. Center materials for social emotional development. One would be dramatic play dolls. A great strategy for this is having multiracial dolls in the classroom, and this will help all children's equal engagement and representation with the dolls. So a developmentally appropriate practice needs to be engaging for all children, and if you're discluding one race or the other, they might not be as equally engaged. Secondary material would be a wash station, and a great strategy is to equip the station with familiar clothing articles appropriate for the season. This will help develop a sense of familiarity with the station and materials. You can even ask for donations from families of clothes they have grown out of, so the child already recognizes what is in the wash station. Fine motor development. So for this scenario, we see a child playing with blocks. You can see that she is using her 3 fingers to manipulate the smaller block on top of the larger block. You see a variety of materials around the child. She is leaned in towards the blocks, indicating concentration, and the running notes are on the side here. Standards would be PDM 6.4b, uses hand-eye coordination to manipulate small objects with ease, and PDM 6.4a performs fine motor tasks that require small muscle strength and control, both of which we see in that picture. An assessment tool for this activity would be a reflective log. As you are watching a child engage with a material that requires these 2 standards, write what you see objectively and make sure to write the actions that they perform that indicate using hand-eye coordination, small finger manipulation, and things like that. Paints and paintbrushes, and a great supply would be to supply this area with augmented paintbrushes, because in order to remain developmentally appropriate, even children who need assistance must be able to engage and be joyful with this activity. So thicker, bigger paintbrushes for those children who may need assistance, and then bead stringers. And having different sizes, holes, and strings will allow for varying levels of skill. Gross motor development. See a child riding a tricycle. She is smiling. She's holding the bike. She's maintaining balance while smiling at the camera. And the running notes are on the side over here. Standards would be PDM 5.3, demonstrates coordination and balance, which we see for the child on the trike, and PDM 5.4b demonstrates coordination and balance in a variety of activities. A great assessment tool for this would be a portfolio. So as you see the child engage in gross motor activities, take pictures. Take pictures of their joyful activities and their balance and coordination, and put them together for parents to be able to see when you present these findings to them. The indoor foam obstacle course, and a great strategy to encourage development in this area is to model how to play with this. This can also help avoid tension between children or injury. And balls. So teachers' strategy for this would be have a variety of different textured balls. If they're all the same, that may be great to avoid quarrels. However, some children may not be interested in the same texture, so make sure to get different textured balls. Help development. See a child smiling. She has the toothpaste on her toothbrush. It looks like a parent is assisting her with this. She's putting the toothpaste up to her mouth, and she's using both of her hands to manipulate the toothbrush. The running notes are on the side here. Standards would be SED 1.3C, shows a sense of satisfaction in her own abilities, preferences, and accomplishments. So it looks like she's pretty happy she can brush her teeth. SED 1.3D shows emerging sense of independence in his or her own choices. A great assessment tool for this would be an interview, because oftentimes you can't go home with a child to see what they can and can't help themselves with. And this way you get to talk to parents to see how you can help them develop this at home. Materials for this would be dramatic play costumes with buttons, buckles, and zips. So a great strategy to encourage engagement and development here is to learn parent professions and equip costumes that represent parents in your classroom. The children will most likely imitate what their parents do when they get ready for work in the morning. The second is a dramatic play center. So a great teacher strategy would be to equip safe, realistic, and familiar kitchen tools. So if your cafeteria has some plastic tongs, it would be worth it to put those in your kitchen as opposed to fake spatulas and tongs. Next page. I hope this PowerPoint has served to inform you about assessment tools, materials for developmentally appropriate practices.